Hi, I'm Mel Dowie. I'm the Onboarding and Education Specialist here at Dext. Welcome to Module 3 for the Precision Academy for Extraordinary Accountants and Bookkeepers. In this video, we are going to take a deeper look into how you can use focus and flows in your practice. We're going to look at how you can set up flow templates that will help to standardize all your processes around your jobs for your clients. We're going to also look at how you can create custom checks. These checks are your own personal checks that you have in-house that are not related to the Precision Intelligent checks. I'm also going to show you how you can create your flows into a one-off flow and how you can repeat them weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annually. Finally, we're going to look at the focus dashboard. This dashboard will help you to review all your team members and all the client flows that they have assigned to them, giving you complete visibility over the status of all workflows. Dext Precision's Focus feature allows you to select from a library of tools and build a workflow that suits the business processes you have developed around specific accounting jobs, such as tax returns, monthly bookkeeping, or year-end. So let me explain a little bit about the features that you can see here. For example, if you look at custom checks are your own checks that are very specific to your practice processes around completing the bookkeeping or accounts work for your clients. And you can build any of these custom checks into all your flow templates that you create. In your subscription, we have provided you with at least 3 templates you could use to get started with your flows. One of those templates will be monthly bookkeeping. If we click into monthly bookkeeping, you will see that we have already added some checks into this template. A check is a tool or task in Precision, typically with a set of calculated results. All checks that you can see are mostly made up of Precision's intelligent checks. These are data-driven checks. So for example, you will have noticed in your client overview screen some cleanup tools. You can see those cleanup tools are found here in this monthly bookkeeping template. So rather than going through each one of those cleanup tools, in your client overview screen, you can create a workflow for your team members to work through to get that work done and to ensure that all the checks you need to be completed are built into a flow template. But alongside our intelligent checks, you can add in your custom checks. You can see down here, send queries to a client is an example of a custom check. Down below, you can search for any intelligent check that you're looking for, or even search for the custom checks that you have included in your custom check section. To select a check to add to this template, you can simply click on it and it will add it to the checklist above. Once you have all your checks in place, you may want to rearrange them into the order in which you want your employee to work through them. Simply grab the check and slide it up or down into the order in which you want the checks to be completed. If you have added a check by accident, you can simply click on the delete button off to the side. This deleting will remove the check from any existing draft or a repeating flow using this template. You simply press confirm. Don't forget to give the template a name and a bit of a description so anybody wanting to use the template in the future knows what the template is for. Once your templates are created, the next step will be to create your flow. Click on Flow Creator. Under Flow Creator, you have the option to create a one-off flow or a repeating flow. An example of a one-off flow might be if you're onboarding a new client and you have a checklist that you want to follow. Maybe you're doing just one job, a cleanup job, or a health review for a prospective or new client. These are examples of one-off flows. Most of the time, I would imagine that your flows will be repeating. Repeating flows will live in the repeating flow area if you want to edit them, and will enter the flow list on a regular basis when they are ready to be completed by your team. Simply click on Create a Repeating Flow. Give your flow a name, and then you want to select a pre-made template from the list below. So this will be the template that you just built and saved in your templates area. Type in the template that you're looking for and choose that template. Click on Next. In here, you will set up some dates to say when you want that flow to be scheduled, the time frame in which you want it to be completed within, and the reporting period that you want this flow to cover, and how often you want it to complete. Click on Next once you fill in that information. In this section, you're going to want to set some parameters. For the flow template selected, the parameters for the checks below need to be provided. As this is a repeating flow, your selections will be relative to the reporting period of each flow that is created. Go through each one of these parameters and set them up as you would like them to be reviewed. Click on Next once you've completed those settings. In this section, you're going to select the clients that you want this flow to be applied to. When you are setting up these flows, select the clients that are most applicable to that flow. If this flow is for a particular reporting period, then you want to select the clients that all sit within that same reporting period. Once you have selected your clients, you will then need to assign them to your team members. Please note, you can only have one assignee to a flow, but you can have up to 2 reviewers for every flow. Select your reviewers and click on Next. Here, you're going to just do a review of the information for this flow. If everything is correct, you would just simply click Publish. This will publish these flows for those periods, for those selected start dates, and assign it to the employees that you put in the settings. Each employee will be emailed a notification when the flows are to start. When a flow has been completed by the employee, they will submit it for review to the reviewer. It is possible to create draft flows as well. If you are in the middle of creating a flow and you just exit out of the flow without publishing it, it will sit in your Flow Creator overview screen as a draft flow, which you can continue editing at a later date. If you want to create a one-off flow, you can simply click on Create a One-Off Flow. You would set your reporting periods and your due dates. The only difference with a one-off flow is you do have the option to create flows by tags. So if you have organized your clients by tags, you may have created tags such as my advisory clients or my bookkeeping clients. These are all the examples of the tags that we have created in this demo account. One tag that might be really useful is via VAT quarters. So if you are setting up a flow for a particular VAT quarter, you could assign every client that is tagged with this VAT quarter with this flow. So now let's take a look at, once the flows are created and assigned to your team members, how they can view these flows. Click on Flow List to view all the flows that are to be completed for your team. This list provides various filters to quickly find the flows you are looking for. You can filter flows by their status, not started, in progress, under review, and complete. You can also order by different values such as due date, period end date, client name, or flow name. Or you can simply use the search box to filter based on the flow template name. If the flow is not yet completed, warnings will be displayed as the due date set for the flow is approaching. If the flow is not yet completed, warnings will be displayed as the due date set for the flow is approaching. There are other options available for each flow by clicking on the menu to the right of the card. Note that flows that have been started cannot be edited. When you click on a flow, you may also be asked to recalculate data if the data in Xero has changed since the last time that you opened and worked on this flow. By clicking on a flow through the flow list, this will hide the distractions of the rest of the precision and allows you to focus on the job at hand. From here, you can run through the checks in a logical order and mark each one as complete once you are happy. The selections to complete a flow are: mark as complete with no issues, mark as complete with some issues. You can also write in the comments section what those issues may have been for the reviewer to take a look at. You also have the option to mark as not applicable. It makes no sense to create bespoke flows for every single client. If you create one flow template that can be used across all clients, there may be some checks within a flow that are not applicable for every client. You can export a flow either by PDF or Excel. The PDF is an export with the health score and top-level check information, plus the comments. The final section of the export is in the flow history. Regular flows will export directly to your browser, like the other PDF exports in Precision. However, large flows of 25 plus checks will be emailed to the email address of the exporter. This is the email address you use to log into Precision. This will still use the same Export to PDF button, but you'll get a pop-up notification to let you know it's been emailed. Please bear in mind, the larger the flow, the more time it will take to be emailed to you, so it could take more than a few minutes in some cases. The Excel export contains the same data as the PDF, but simply formatted and always downloaded immediately to the browser. It's a good format if you want to create your own flow export layouts or edit the information before you provide it to the client. Once you have completed all the checks in a flow, this is done by clicking on the ticks beside each check. If needed, you can click the tick again to change the check back to incomplete. Only once you've completed all checks will Precision allow you to make the flow as complete. Once all the checks in a flow have been completed, if there is a reviewer, they will be notified at that point that the flow needs to be reviewed. Flows in Precision can have up to 2 reviewers, which you assign when creating the flow. These reviewers are sent an email when the flow is ready for review, starting with the first reviewer, who can either hand it back to the assigned user with any comments or pass it on to the second reviewer if assigned. The flow can only be marked as complete once approved by the reviewers. Details of the reviewers and status are listed in the sidebar in focus mode. Under Focus, click on Focus Dashboard. In this dashboard, you're able to see all of your clients, all the flows that have been created, what their period start date is, who they have been assigned to, when their period ends, due dates, reviewers. You can also see the status of all the flows, such as in progress, complete, under review. You can have a view of that progress along with the checks that were required, which checks have been completed, how many are outstanding, and how many were not applicable for this particular client flow. You can also have a review of anything that has issues. You could also use this information to help you with planning jobs in the future, maybe around capacity, depending on how long jobs are taking to be done. It helps to provide more insight around the length of jobs. One way that you can view this information is by grabbing any one of these columns at the top here and grouping this report by that column. So for example, if you wanted to see all the flows assigned to your team members, simply grab the column and drag it up to the grouping area. Here you can see all of your team members grouped, and underneath each of those team members what flows they have in their name. You might want to also grab the client name and bring it up to the grouping area. And from here you can see under your team members which clients they're working on and how many flows they have outstanding for that client. Maybe you want to change the view and you want to view it by client name first and then assign to. Simply grab client name, swap it around with assign to, and here you can see all clients, and underneath those clients all the team members that have flows and what those flows are. So it really depends on how you want to view it. It's a very flexible report and it allows you to view it in any format that you choose. So that is an overview of how you can use Focus and Flow Creators to set up workflows for your team members. And finally, just to let you know that Precision will send each team member an email summary once a day if and only if they have items in focus that need their attention. This will include flows ready to start, flows due, and any flows that may be overdue. The Daily Digest email can be turned on and off in your user settings area. This can be found by clicking on your user avatar in the top right of Precision